Hi, my name is Allie, for those of you who don't know me, and I am the maker behind Crochet in the Mud, where I do both crochet plushies as well as pottery. In this video, I'm going to just quickly go over my inventory as I head into my big Memorial Day market. Now, this market is, I think, the most expensive one I've been to. Depending on how you look at it, it's almost as much as my 6-day market was. I'll link those videos up here. But that was a 6-day market. This one's a 3-day market. The hours might roughly be the same, but we're going to go ahead and call it my most expensive market. And I don't typically go over my inventory between market to market. I try to do my best every week to go through and update what I've made, tag it, add it to my website inventory, as well as a spreadsheet that tells me how much I have of everything. But at my prior market, I'll tag that one up here as well if you haven't seen it. It was a really good market, and I actually sold more than I expected to. But when I was selling my best sellers, it was telling me I should still have some in stock, and then I didn't of certain colors. For example, of like the cats, it said I should have some, and then I didn't. So we're gonna just quickly go over. It could be a case of Henry rang somebody up, rang up the wrong color. I like to blame him. I feel like I usually ring up the correct color, but hopefully it's not a case of theft. I also could have messed up when I was doing the inventory. But I did inventory a couple weeks ago. I'll link that video up here also if you want to see it. And I matched what I had. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but we'll just take a look. I'm hoping it's just that my inventory's marked the wrong colors. Now, I don't know if you can see too well, but we do have a cat on the bed. So we're going to work around her, and hopefully we don't disturb her. So I think I'm going to go one duffel bag at a time. I do have 4 duffel bags. I did have a theory that I do have a box in my closet that has overflow plushies, or like I went through and I think I made 10 sunflower turtles, which will probably last me not quite a year, but a good chunk of months. And I'm not going to drag 10 around to markets when I don't even sell one at every market. And I know I had thrown some cats in there too, ones that I had a lot of, but I just went into that box before I hit record. And I only have my orange tabby cats, and I don't think that one was an issue. So let's see what we've got. And as always with my videos, I'll have all of these patterns tagged below. Sometimes when I do a Google Doc, half the people can't get in, half the people can. So if I still have a Google Doc and haven't found another form of sharing multiple patterns all at once, if it's not working for you and there's a certain pattern you want, just comment below and I'll put the link on there. Otherwise, hopefully the Google Doc works for you. Oh glory, we get to start with the small plushie bag. That was a lot more chaotic than I expected. But you can kind of see this giant pile next to me. Of course, I started with the pile that has the most plushies. So I use Shopify as my website, so I keep track of inventory on there. And I really like that you can have multiple locations, so I can mark what quantity I have at my store. And then I'm possibly joining a store later this week, I can also mark what plushies are at store B. So I'm going to just search and make sure that Shopify lines up and my Google Sheet. I think I'm going to go ahead and do both. So I figure I'll also just walk you through all of these plushies. So I have one of first mini whales. This is, I think, Smooth Sailing is the color, and it's a pink, blue, and white, and I feel like it's a very subtle trans flag. I do have 2 of them. One is in the closet. I think this yarn's discontinued, which is a shame because I really like making a bunch of plushies with it around Pride season. But I have 2 of them. One of them will be held off for Pride. So it won't go to Boulder Creek, but it will go to Pride. So there's the first whale. And then I do have materials to make more of these if I need to. So this one is with Big Twist Plush in crayon box variegated, I think. A nice rainbow for Pride, but I'll bring it to my next market. I do try to have Pride plushies around more than just in June. I usually just stockpile more than normal in June. And then this one is Lion Brand Cover Story, and now it's covered in cat fur. I really like this one. And then lastly, this one is in dried flowers. I feel like it's a nice subtle lesbian flag, but this year I feel like it's more of a stretch. But that's it for the whales. I'm also trying to figure out how I left to the market with 4 duffels and then 3 larger plushies in a separate bag, and somehow came home after selling $1,400 with 3.5 duffels. So hopefully I can pack them a little tighter this time. And of course, I'm only about 10 minutes into this and my back already hurts. So yay. But this is the sunflower turtle I was talking about, where I have a bunch in backstock. But I try to bring 2 to markets with me. I do have 9 in total. But with this market, I am coming home between all 3 days. So if for some reason both of them sell on Saturday, I'll bring the other 7 with me. Or I'll kind of gauge the interest in those. But as to save space, I'm only going to bring 2. And then I have 1 daisy turtle. And then when it comes to seahorse, I have these 2. And hopefully I can make some more. But with this pattern pack by Crochet Grove, I started making everything in Bernay Blanket. That's the yarn I tend to use the most. But she uses Parfait Chunky and yarns like that. And so I tried to make some smaller plushies. And of course, all of the Parfait Chunky seed horses have sold, but these 2 I still have. This one, if you notice, the mane is a little different. I didn't realize this told you to do increases in the half double crochets around, and just did 1. So that's why they kind of look different, but I wasn't about to go redo it. And then I realized I missed a turtle from the bag. This is from that same pattern pack, but just need to double check. Yep. So there's that guy. And then I only have 1 crab left, I believe. This is from that same pattern pack. And similar to the seahorses, I made it in Bernay Blanket first. Then I also made this one in Posh and Parfait Chunky. Both of those have sold, but I still have the big one. And then for frogs in this bag, I have the Friendly Frog by Crochet by Jenna in her book. This one is a duplicate, so it is being sold, and then the other one I'm holding so I can make a review video for that book. But one of this. And then I'm very behind on the trends, but I started making leggy frogs, specifically the mini leggy frog, for the first time this year. And they've been doing alright. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was about to say my inventory says I should have 11, but I... And then for Sea Stars, I have 3 coming to the market, and then I have a box over to the side with, I think, 8 more that I've just procrastinated. I haven't figured out how I want to make the listing photos for these. I made all of those with scrap yarn, and I decided that one will be a mystery listing, so if you order online, you just get a random one pulled, and then in person, obviously, you can pick your color. She's so adorable right there, but she is in the most inconvenient spot possible. Alright, so let's do the pocket stingrays now, so I gotta scoot them closer. Now my pocket pals, I put into just a giant bucket. People can dig through them, but I do not tag. I do, to Henry's utter annoyance, keep track of inventory based on color. So let's see what we have. This is tourmaline, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I should have 7. That's what the inventory says. This color is Zing Dot. I think it's beautiful, but anything I make in it doesn't sell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next color is Party Pop, and I have 3 in that. Three Berry. Two Petal Pink. 2 Pixie Dot, and 1, we call it Wonder Bread, but I believe it's called Primary Dot. And of course, the 2 best sellers of my pocket pals, I don't have any stingrays, but that would be Mini Succulents and Stormy Ocean. So if I have time, it's not priority, but it'd be nice to have some of those if I can. I'm also out of pocket whales. So again, not priority, but that would be nice to make this. And then I have a somewhat similar color scheme in the pocket octos. These are, of the 3, the all-time bestseller. I do sell the pocket whales, stingrays, and octos for $12. I do not believe you should sell any plushie for under $10. These are my highest profit margin, which helps them being a bestseller, because then it can make up for other items not having quite as high of a profit margin. I do price my items fairly, in my opinion. I base it off of how long it takes me to make, as well as how much materials they take. And you do have to factor in a profit margin. That's how you pay for your booth fees. You pay for like your tent and your display setup in there and upgrading everything. So just wanted to put that out there. But Stormy Ocean is one of my best selling colors of the octos. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. My miscellaneous is next, which we're going to skip that and come back to it. But the next highest quantity I have right now is this red, white, and pink, which I think is called Strawberry Dot. But I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so my inventory says I should have another one, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep track on my phone of anything I'm missing, and I updated my inventory on the website. Tourmaline's going to be next. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I was about to be like, man, if I have 2 in a row that are missing one. Next color is Party Pop. 2, 4, 6, 7. If you're wondering why I have so many of these, it's because they're my bestseller. Also, they're kind of mindless. so I don't really need to think as I'm making them. So anytime I'm needing to focus but also just try to use something with my hands, I'll do these guys because they're real easy. And then the next one is my other bestseller, which only having 7 of these worries me, but that's okay. So 2, 4, 6, 7. And then the one I mentioned earlier we call Wonder Bread, but I believe it's primary dot, 2, 4, and 6. Blue confetti is what I call it, but that's not the name. It's one of the dinosaur, or used to be dinosaur blue jean dot maybe, but 2 of those. Okay, so then what I have left should be my miscellaneous. Let's see, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and that's what this says. So miscellaneous will kind of give you some examples. Like this is the only one I have of this. I'm not going to make a listing for it. Same with this one. This was scrap yarn. Like literally these 2 tentacles are another color because there wasn't enough. This one's a 2-toned. And then the rest of these were all just scrap yarn. So I'm not going to make a listing for that. And that is the end of bag 1. So we only found 1 mess up in there, which is great. Now I'll go grab bag 2. So, of course, I picked the 2 hardest bags to go through back to back. This is my bag of bestsellers, so this is also, I feel like, the most important bag to go through. So, let's see if we can find. So, I think the first thing I'm going to grab are these Chick with Frog hats. I absolutely love these. They're super cute. They have been hit or miss at my markets. However, I feel like it is because of where they were placed. When I have them in a prime location in the booth, they sell really well. When I have them on a lower shelf of my bookshelf, they don't really sell. So that's my comment on these so far. But I should have 5. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do Mushy Boys next. So these are usually not a bestseller, but they're usually up there in the better sellers. So I currently have 2 different sizes. So they are going to be different prices based on the size. But this big one is using Kaylee's Naughty Ball Deluxe yarn, and the small one is using Bernay Blanket. Moving forward, I will only make Bernay Blanket, but I was just testing this yarn out. So I have 2 of the large. And then I should have 4 small. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to kind of narrow it down a little bit before I do the big ones. So, oh boy. That is not a good sign. Mallard ducks. These are usually up there as a good seller. I'm not seeing the second. Oh, there it is. I only have 2. And currently I am out of this brown yarn. So I think I definitely need to order some. This is taupe. Not good. Okay, and then let's do tofu turtles next. So I do have some rainbow in here. I have 15 of them in my closet being held off for my Pride Market. So I should have 4 left. So here's 2. No! 4. I was starting to get worried there for a second. Okay. And then we have green tofu, which should have 6. So here's 2, 4, and 6. And then lastly for tofu, I have pink, which I only have 2 left. And I have no beige tofu. So we're possibly making some turtles this week. This is going to be a hefty restock. Possums, I have 4, which for a one-day market, I feel like I could get by with, but for a 3-day market, this is not enough. Sorry, battery died. One thing about this market is I've never done it before, so I don't know what the best day is going to be. Because usually if you have a Saturday, Sunday, Saturday is going to be better. Sunday people are prepping to go back to work, but it's Memorial Day weekend. So I feel like Sunday will be good too, but also I think Monday is going to be good because people want to do stuff. And this is a very well-known market. So, like, my gut says Monday will be the busiest day, but I honestly have no idea. And then I have, of course, Mabel chickens. So I have 2, 4, if you saw it, I threw it, 6, and 8. And then I do have 3 booty turtles. If you don't know what they are, they literally have butts on them. I believe they're called Trunk the Turtle. It's a free pattern on Instagram. But my issue with them is I try to display one with the shell off and then it doesn't go well. So if you sell Trunk the Turtle, let me know how you display it. But this poor guy got dirty at my last market. People kept dropping him on the asphalt. Now is I guess it's not that hard. I've narrowed it down to just axolotls left. So I definitely need to restock certain colors of these. And this will not be fun. I did a big how many axolotls can I make in a week challenge back in January. I'll link that video up here. And I've now already had to make axolotls 2 more times, and this will be the 3rd time now. I thought for sure, I think I made 50 that week, around that number somewhere. And I don't know why it didn't last me very long. They are, of course, a bestseller. Usually the best colors are going to be pink or blue. So luckily, those are the most I have. So I have 3 pink, 4, 5, which I did get a comment the other day asking me how I determine how many of each plushie I bring to a market. And I did give quite a long response to that, but it's not an exact science. But usually I would be satisfied with 5 of the pink for a 1-day market. This is a 3-day market, so ideally I would have 3 times my ideal number. However, that is not going to happen. But I then have 3 light pink, light blue, I do need to make sure, lately I've been selling about 12 axolotls a day, so I need to at least have 36 axolotls. Honestly, I feel like bringing 50 to this would be ideal. However, that takes me a week to do. Light green, I still have the 2 I made in January. And then we have dark purple. I have 2 of those. Light purple. We have 2. Dark blue, I have 2. Dark green, I have 1. Black, I have 1. Which, if my spreadsheet is correct, means I have exactly 36. So I think making the couple of colors will bring me to a good amount, and then I'll just have to re-prep these for Pride and for my markets. So colors I'm missing, I don't have any gray, orange, yellow, or my hot pink. So I try to bring 2 of each color, so that means at minimum I need to make 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, no, 8, 9, 10. So I need to make 10 at least. And it would be nice if I could make some more light pink or blue. But I also might bring that yarn with me to the market. And that brings me to the end of bag number 2. So let's go grab the third bag and keep trucking, and hopefully we'll be done soon. So this is the dreaded cat bag, which are the plushies I noticed an issue with. So let me just quickly pull out some other plushies. So we have my Triceratops. I also have a sticker of this, but using the trans flag colors to make a Triceratops. I'm sure it'll sell at Pride if it doesn't sell this weekend. And then we have a handful of duplicates from Jenna's book. So I have a Feisty Fox, a Darling Dragon, a Gentle Giraffe, a Blissful Bear, I think it's called, Tranquil Triceratops, and another Darling Dragon. I did get an online order this week for a pink dragon, but unfortunately they ordered the Bernay blanket version, so I can't send them this one. And then I have a couple of squids. So again, these are mainly for Pride, but I'm going to bring them to this market too. So this is Dried Flowers again, the one that I see as a subtle lesbian flag. This is the big squid. And then I have 2 baby squids of that color. And I also have a baby squid in Blue Jean Dot. I do have a handful of dolphins. This is once again from the Sea Creature pattern pack by Crochet Grove. But using up some scrap yarn, I made 3 Bernay blanket dolphins. Oop. And I also used the rest of this as well. But I'll show you the size difference between Bernay blanket and Parfait Chunky. And like the others, Parfait Chunky is selling and Bernay blanket is not. But I have 4 of that. I have 4 Parfait Chunky. Some of these are also just chenille, but trying to get rid of that yarn. And then I also, thank you to a comment, I do apologize, I forget who said to do this, but someone said I should make a pink river dolphin. So this didn't sell at my previous market, but it was also towards the bottom, so I'm sure this will sell at this upcoming market. And then once again from that pattern pack, we have some jellies. So I have 2 pink and 1 purple. Honestly, I could use some more of these, but I feel like that's going to be a low priority. And then next, we have actually one of my patterns, which is a chocolate kiss. I made quite a few of these for I had a chocolate and cheese festival, but none of them sold at that one. But I have 2 pink, 2 silver. Realistically it's gray, but there's not really a silver yarn. And then I have a blue, a purple, and a red. And these were all made with a mix of, some of them are Big Twist Posh, some of them are Naughty Ball yarn. Alright, and now we've gotten to cats, which is hopefully not too messed up. So this was the only cat I had in my overstock box, which is my orange tabby. I use mystical yarn, and then I do have stripes on them using, I forget what color. But we should have 6 according to my inventory. So here's 4, 6. This cat was actually an online order, so I'm going to set this aside. This one I should have 3 of. This is using Sandy Tweed and Woodland Tweed. I have 3. And then it says I should have 2 gray cats, 2 black and white, and then 1 sandy tweed. So honestly, I think I'm just going crazy. They're the whole reason I decided to go through my inventory. But good to know I'm just blind, I guess. But there are a couple of colors I need to restock of that. Just the ones I have 0 of. I need more black cats, sandy tweed, and white. So it would be this color, and then this all would be white. And then gray and white, calico, and Siamese if I want to have all of my cat options. Jennifer has moved, so I'm going to move her box, and we'll go do bag number 4. Okay, Jennifer. And then last but not least, we have my big plushie bag. So this here is a unicorn with a floppy head. This was by Katie Dids. Honestly, I highly regret the color choice I made for it. I have had this unicorn for a year and a half, maybe 2 years. It's been in one of my stores for a while that I have since left, but not my favorite color combo. Plus this unicorn took me so long that it's $100, so she's been with me for a while. Next big plushie is this cow. This cow is, I can tell, a little older because it is wholly. So I do have another cow at Eclectic that I made recently, and it is much better quality. I think this cow was at a store and like was rotating through stores for a while, and that's why I have this. I have since sized down on my hook, but hopefully somebody will love this cow. And then I have a Brontosaurus. This one is with that new Michaels yarn. I forget what it's called, but it's the white one with rainbow in it. I do have a Mudang. This one was made out of Posh, so I'm sure it would have been much bigger if I'd made it with other yarn, but this bad boy is $82. And I also have another one that is at Eclectic as well. And lastly, for my big plushies, I have my 2 scrap bears. I did make a video about these. If you're interested, I'll link the video above, assuming I haven't reached 5 linked videos already. I don't know, I've lost track. But these 2 are $52, and I pulled all of my scrap yarn that I'm not planning to buy those colors again. And I actually almost bought this maroon the other day when I was shopping at Joann. But I spun a wheel, it picked the color, I went until I either finished the limb or I finished the skein, and kept going until I got it all. So these guys are a cute ugly, and hopefully somebody loves them. And I figure I'll also go ahead and show you some other plushies I have. Now I have not made listings for these yet, or tagged them, or figured out a price for some. But this is the Crochet Grove mini dinosaur. It is super cute. Don't have a price for it yet because I have not timed myself to see how long they take. And from that same pattern pack, I bought the 2-in-1. This is the big dinosaur. So I have priced this one. This one came out to being 2 hours of work and almost an entire skein of Sweet Snuggles Light. And this one is going to be $92. I also have a purple version of this exact yarn in this size at Eclectic Co. if you're interested in shopping at Colorado Springs. But I need to make a listing and tag that one. I also made a shark from the Crochet Grove Aquatic Animals bundle. Also have not priced this one yet. I also sewed the pectoral fins too high. So there's a shark. Hopefully for these 2 plushies I can make one this week and time myself so I can price them and bring them to the market. And then lastly, I have some precious pandas from Crochet by Jenna's book. These are priced. I just need to make their listing and tag them. And then I believe I have one more plushie left I haven't shown you. So I already showed you some possums. I'm just kind of going through my weekly makes bags at this point. But I also have some chickens for this market. So my prior market I only brought 2. They both sold. So I needed to make some more chickens. So that's everything I have made as of now. Today is Monday, May 19th. So come this Saturday starts my big market. But as of now, my crochet inventory is at a little over $6,000. So I did have a goal to bring $8,000 to this market. I've never had that much inventory ever. In terms of plushies, I only count plushie inventory. But I do have a couple $1,000s in pottery inventory. I also have stickers. I have a handful of crochet kits, some resin eyes, some stitch markers. I have tons of things to sell that aren't crochet plushies. So if you want to see what I get up to making this week, go watch. It should be the video prior to this if I stick to my scheduling calendar. But I've got to stop yapping because it's now 2:15 on Monday and I have not crocheted anything today because I've been doing other stuff. By the time you see this, the market will be over, but I will be having a market vlog come out, and that is scheduled for June 4th, so keep a lookout. I'll tag it up here once it is out. So thank you so much for watching this inventory video with me. I hope that you could be entertained and enjoyed the plushies that I do currently have. A lot of these are the patterns I make on repeat, and I was very excited this first quarter of the year to actually have time to start experimenting with new patterns, which I find myself forcing this upon myself. This is fully my fault, where I will make these same patterns over and over and over again because they're my best sellers and I know they sell. But it's nice to get to actually do some other patterns. The current on my mind that I want to make is the little bugling patterns. I'll throw a picture up here of the listing. I have not made any of them, but they seem so cute. So that is my next goal for new patterns. But anyways, go ahead and drop a comment below what your favorite pattern that I showed in this video was. And also go ahead and let me know when your next market is. So I wish you the best of luck at your upcoming markets. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!